Now to introduce the leadership of Covenant House International. Kevin Ryan, our CEO, came to Covenant House first in 1992 to help with legal services. You probably never knew you'd end up where you're at now, right? But he caught the wave, and he's with us now. He's been our CEO since 2009. Under his leadership, we've really embraced this very comprehensive strategic plan, of which Covenant House coming to Chicago is a part of that. And then also we have Tom McGee, our international board chair, who is CEO of the International Council of Shopping Centers. Before that, he was with vice chairman of Deloitte, and he is part of bringing this movement here as well. So I want to turn it over to these gentlemen to tell us about the movement of Covenant House.
Great. Thank you, Joseph. Thank you, Mayor, for your support. The Mayor's support is a very big piece of why Covenant House has joined this movement for young people in Chicago. And a second big piece is because families across this country, including families in Illinois, have made an extraordinary sacrifice to build this movement for Covenant House in Illinois. This is the investment of families, of private individuals who've come together to be God's love in the world for kids who, for one reason or another, don't have that. And it's a remarkable demonstration of what we can be together, how we can be light for young people. The playgrounds and the courtyards of heaven are too crowded with our children. We have an opportunity to join this movement in Chicago, to be hope, to be a bridge for kids from poverty and alienation to hope and opportunity, to jobs. We're not bringing more to this community than, as Saul said, some real bench strength. But bench strength is important because we'll be, like the extraordinary icons of hope and love in this city, we will be muscle. We'll be safe place for kids. We will be sanctuary from the streets. We'll help young people get health care. And the most important thing we'll do is for kids who are living on the streets, who are couch surfing, maybe young people who are squatting, we'll be a place where they can come in and they can exhale and they can begin to believe in themselves again. The extraordinary climbs that kids make from alienation and poverty and marginalization or disenfranchisement, and the remarkable things we see, and they're stretching, and they're reaching, and they're shining. That's all because kids begin to believe in themselves again. And the extraordinary young people of Chicago have it in them. They have it in themselves to be great. We want to be part of that great unleashing. That's why we're here. We thank you for the privilege. We're really, really grateful to those of you in this space. Some of you have made 6- and 7-figure commitments to make this movement possible here. Thank you from the bottom of our hearts. And it's my pleasure to introduce our leader, Tom McGee.
Thank you, Kevin. And thank you, Kevin. It's really your vision and strategic foresight that I think has led us here. So thank you for being a charismatic leader. And you got a sense of that just listening to Kevin speak. And also thank you to Joseph. It's been a busy 6 weeks for you, Joseph. And you've gotten a lot accomplished. Now, I can't wait to see what the next 6 weeks have in store. But we're so proud to have you here. And on behalf of the International Board, I also want to thank Mark Hennessy, who will be the chair of the Covenant House here in Chicago, who has just done remarkable work. And finally, on behalf of the International Board, I want to thank all of you as supporters for your generosity of time and, importantly, treasure to make this a reality. Truly amazing, inspirational is really the right word. So thank you so much, and thank you to the city and the mayor for welcoming us here and for your leadership in bringing a Covenant House here and for allowing it to happen. Covenant House is a remarkable place. It really does provide the one thing that I think every human being has the right to, which is unconditional love, the real opportunity to achieve their dreams, and that's what Covenant House makes a reality. And when you hear Joseph speak and you hear Kevin speak, you can really sense the passion that this organization has. So you clearly have the support of the International Board to make this a reality, and so thank you so very much.
It's my privilege now to introduce a partner in this work. Maria Kim, the leader of CARA in Chicago, is one of the outstanding leaders in our city making a difference for folks facing homelessness and poverty. She came out of the insurance industry 13 years ago, and I'm glad that you did. Joined CARA in 2005 and is now the president and CEO of CARA. And by the way, CARA, the organization, has a 70% retention rate at 1 year with the folks they place in permanent jobs. It's outstanding. Our youth need jobs to stabilize, and CARE will be our partner in that work.
Joe. Congratulations on a great day and a great new beginning for the city of Chicago. Kara is very excited to welcome Covenant House to this city and to work together to build a partnership. Our partnership will be about training, placing, and retaining young people into meaningful employment. We all know that jobs are the pivot that help you get from off the streets and onto the full promise of your life. To give you a sense of what we might build together, I'm going to tell you about a guy named Jeremy, a Kara alum and now a colleague of mine. Jeremy came to us in his early 20s, and he had a rough go. A story not dissimilar to what we've seen here at Covenant House. His mom and dad were not a part of his life. Eventually, he got hooked up with the wrong crowd and was in and out of gangs, in and out of homelessness, in and out of the justice system for many, many years. By the numbers, just to put this into context, he was arrested 28 times, was convicted of 6 felonies, was in the penitentiary twice, and was in and out of county jail 10 times, all by the age of 25, right? But he wanted more, you know? He came out of that situation and he wanted more, so he took a chance on Kara. Think of it like a skill-building boot camp that's half school and half simulated workplace. He had a boss while he was there. He learned skills while he was there. He studied. He developed himself and his character and his resume. Eventually, he worked for one of our businesses called Clean Slate, which we hope to bring to Chicago Avenue sometime soon. But Clean Slate, where he built his resume, we liked him so much we hired him on full time. He's now on his 2nd promotion where he's working with young black men through the Emerson Collective partnership that we have. So he's mentoring young guys who are struggling in the same soup that he once was struggling. How full circle fabulous is that, right? And the greatest thing of all is that he's got 2 kids. He's got a 7-year-old named Jayla and a baby named Jeremy Jr. who got their daddy back, right? Who can see him put on his uniform, get ready to go to work, provide for his family, and I am convinced that their futures will forever be changed as a result. And the thing is, with Covenant House's leadership, with Covenant House's bench strength, we can serve an infinite number more Jeremys, and at a much earlier age, where it counts even more transformatively. And together, we can certainly stem the tide of youth homelessness, but most importantly, we can engage young people to become the leaders we know that they want and can be. So congrats to you all for a tremendous debut. If the first 6 weeks are any indication, Lord knows what's coming next.
It's now my great honor to introduce the mayor of the city of Chicago, Rahm Emanuel. His commitment to and passion for helping young people and for focusing on issues of homelessness was a key driver in bringing Covenant House to Chicago. So it's because of that commitment that we are here. Since taking office in 2011, Mayor Emanuel has increased funding for homeless services by more than 10% and invested in new programs targeting veterans, youth, families, and victims of domestic violence. Not to mention the chronically homeless. Just some of those many initiatives include an expansion of dedicated youth shelter space and the establishment of 3 regional drop-in centers to serve 1,400 youth. It makes a huge difference. We greatly appreciate the welcoming environment he has provided for us, and we look forward to building on this success. Mayor Emanuel.
Thank you, Joe. I do want to say it's been since Mark we met, and I think it was around Thanksgiving 2015. As I said then, not only do I want you in Chicago, I want you in Chicago tomorrow. I know that comes as a shock to a lot of people here in the room that I wanted it yesterday. I want it done. But it's great that you're here, and also the good news is that you want to expand here. The bad news is there'll be insatiable need to service. And I want to thank the Covenant House for making Chicago their home. And as we say as a welcoming city, you're always welcome here. And I want to say to all of the individuals that made this possible, I want to thank you for stepping up, going beyond your family to the family we call Chicago. And so if you could, please give yourself a hand for making this possible. I see Covenant House and what its work is when we say it takes a village, that's what it means. And the home and the roof is just one aspect of it. It's making sure that these kids and these adolescents have the ability to get all the emotional support, not just a roof, but all the emotional support to get back on their 2 feet and either go to finish school, get back in school, or a job. If you haven't been to Cara House, I do recommend you go. I brought my kids to the morning circle where folks are getting ready to go to work. It's for a Jewish kid, it's the closest thing you get to church. And you can't leave somewhat converted. If you haven't done it, you really got to participate. 1, you appreciate your own position in life, and 2, you know that you're lucky, and 3, you owe something to somebody else to make sure that they can walk through that door and they firm themselves up to go back into that job market and that interview. It really is inspirational, and it means what it means to support somebody. The good news is we have the Covenant House. The good news, as I said earlier, that they're here and they're going to expand. And as Lisa has done a fabulous job, sometimes our challenge is, I always say, the challenge is this big and our wrapping paper is this big. And we've got to figure out how to get the wrapping paper around us. And it complements what we have done with the 1,400 kind of drop-in, the 3 sites for 1,400 kids. But the problem is it's always full. There's never an empty bed, never an empty chair. And we have a responsibility to these young lives that really, they don't choose to be there. Yeah, in one way they have chosen, but they haven't chosen to be homeless. And the home and the shelter is just one aspect. The shelter is a piece. We need to create collectively as a city that sense of a home. So whether it's mental health, accessing health care, getting back into school, or accessing a job, it's about creating that kind of environment that Joe and all the speakers earlier have talked about, which is to give these kids that sense of love so they don't give up on themselves, but they believe in themselves again. And our job is to make sure that they make that choice to believe in themselves again, and they have the support to do this. So as we cut this ribbon, it is a great moment. I didn't realize it was 17 years since you've expanded. At 18 in the Jewish faith, it's life. So I don't know why all of a sudden I got religious. It must be the surroundings. But let us cut the ribbon not only on the space, let's cut the ribbon on the warmth that this house provides to these young people and give them a chance to have a new beginning. Thank you.
So I want to introduce Mark Hennessy, our chair of the board for Covenant House, Illinois. And I'll tell you, when I came into this role, I came with such strong support and someone with quite a ground game. You've been meeting with dozens and dozens of folks for well over a year to make this possible. So I want to turn it over to Mark, who's going to kind of send us out and into our ribbon cutting today.
Thank you, Joseph. I appreciate the kind words, but everybody needs to understand he's still making up for the fact that he made me go after Mayor Emanuel. It's a tough spot to have, but I'll do my best. First of all, I do want to thank the mayor. He alluded to the first meeting that we had shortly after Thanksgiving a year and a half ago. And I have to tell you, since that time, he has been steadfast in the support for our organization, in making the introductions that were necessary, in helping ensure that we had what we needed to be part of his plan to eliminate youth homelessness in Chicago. And I want to really thank Mayor Emanuel for that support. So secondly, I'd like to say thanks to a couple of our supporters. Certainly, Tom and Kevin, thank you so much for the investments that you've made, the support that you've provided us, and actually to all of our Covenant House International Board. And there are a couple of international board members that are here that I'd like to acknowledge. First, Darius DeHaas, and also Mary Sullivan, two of my colleagues. Thank you both. And to all of the supporters of Covenant House. I've really been very fortunate to have the opportunity to spend time with hundreds of them around the country in the 7 years since I've been on the international board. And they are wonderful people. They give us their prayers, they give us their ideas, they give us their financial support, they volunteer for us. And it's just a really humbling community to be part of. They are the ones that have enabled us and inspired us to provide the services that we look forward to providing to the city of Chicago. And so a big thanks to all of them as well. I guess the last thing I would say is just a little quick recap of the last 18 months for us. We met with lots of folks here in the community. We met with service providers, government officials, we met with foundations, individual donors, corporations, and we were really impressed by a number of things. First was the need. Mayor Emanuel called it insatiable. There are so many kids that are sleeping on park benches, riding the CTA, sleeping in McDonald's. The need is there. Every big city has the need, but there's some unique issues here in Chicago that the kids have to deal with as well. So that was kind of number one. Number two was how welcoming everybody was. It was really gratifying. It was honest, it was authentic, it was serious. They were anxious for us to join the team and become part of the community that was fighting this issue. And that was really heartwarming for all of us. The third thing was how collaborative the community was and how interested they were in not only working together to try and help improve kids' lives, but how they wanted to be innovative as well. They wanted to share best-of-breed ideas. They wanted to leverage the academic institutions for the data and the metrics that would help us do the best job that we possibly could. They're interested in the outcomes and helping kids and being effective as they possibly can, but also being as efficient as they possibly can. And in these times, that's very important. So we're really honored and humbled to be joining this community and joining this movement to do what we can to help the community end youth homelessness in Chicago. Thank you all. Now the fun part, we actually get to cut the ribbon and open Covenant House here in Chicago.
No tricking with the scissors.
No cheating and going first.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, there you go.
Ready? You want us to move down a little?
Just an inch. There you go.
Okay. Who wants to cut it? Ready? You cut. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Absolutely.